Most people wouldn't survive the first hour. No heat, no signal, a predator outside, and a blizzard coming through your broken window. Jennifer survived the whole night alone, using nothing but what was already inside her car. Today, we are walking through every move she made and exactly why each one kept her alive. This is Jennifer's story.
It was 5 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, somewhere along a long, empty stretch of northern interstate highway, the kind of road where you can drive 20 minutes without seeing another pair of headlights. Flat, remote, nothing but white fields bleeding into a gray sky in every direction. 28-year-old Jennifer was 3 hours from home. Her car heater was running hard against the negative 10-degree blizzard hammering the highway outside. In the passenger seat, her golden retriever Buddy was curled up and completely asleep, head resting against the window. Not a single care in the world. Everything felt safe, controlled, normal. She'd driven in bad weather before. This was just another winter drive. Then, the storm made its move. One massive wall of wind hit the side of the car so hard and so sudden that the vehicle lost all traction instantly. It fishtailed across the ice, lurched sideways, and actually lifted up onto 2 wheels before slamming back down into a deep snowbank off the shoulder of the road.
The impact shook everything. And then, silence. Not peaceful silence. The kind of silence that means something is very wrong. The dashboard went completely dark. Every single light. The engine shuddered. Once, twice, and died. The warm hum that every driver takes for granted. That constant background comfort of a running vehicle, gone. Replaced by the muffled roar of the blizzard pressing in from every direction. Jennifer turned the key. Nothing. She grabbed her phone. No signal. Not one bar. Not even an emergency signal. In under 60 seconds, her safe, warm, fully loaded SUV had become a sealed metal box buried in snow. No heat, no help, no way out. And the temperature inside was already starting to drop. Here's something nobody tells you about real survival situations. Your first mistake almost never looks like a mistake. It looks completely logical. It looks like exactly the right thing to do. Within 20 minutes, the outside of Jennifer's windshield was completely buried under a thick wall of ice. Her breath was coming out in heavy white clouds. She needed to assess the situation. She needed to see what she was fixing with outside. So she pushed the driver's door open. The second that door cracked, the cold hit her like a wall. The kind of cold that doesn't just sting your skin, it locks your lungs. Like your body genuinely forgets how to breathe for a moment. But Jennifer wasn't focused on the cold, because standing in the whiteout, barely 10 feet from her front bumper, was a mountain lion, full grown, North American cougar, a big one, storm-driven out of the tree line, cutting right across the highway shoulder, moving slow and deliberate. And it wasn't running from the car, it was watching it. Jennifer didn't scream, didn't move. Every muscle in her body locked up completely. She reached out, slow, controlled, shaking, and pulled that door shut, as quiet as she possibly could. Buddy was wide awake now. No more dreaming. He was pressed flat against her side, body stiff
staring at the exact spot she was staring at. Dogs don't need to see a threat clearly. They feel it, deep in something ancient that never left them. And then, through the howling wind, a sound, low, guttural, vibrating right against the glass. The cougar was circling the car, moving slow, patient. It could smell them both.
Jennifer sat completely still, barely breathing, listening to something built entirely to hunt, pacing around her car in the dark, like it was deciding when, not if. Then the pine branch hit. She never heard it coming. The storm snapped a massive branch off a tree somewhere above, and it came down like a sledgehammer, directly through the side window. Glass exploded inward across the seat. Buddy yelped and scrambled. The cougar bolted into the dark, but the window was gone. The blizzard was inside the car now, not seeping in gradually, pouring in. Wind, snow, and negative 10-degree air flooding the cabin without mercy. Jennifer had maybe an hour before the cold became fatal for both of them.
Most people in that moment would shut down. And honestly, who could blame them? Broken window, below zero temperatures, a predator in the dark, a terrified dog, no phone signal, no heat, no help coming. Panic is the natural response to all of that hitting you at once. Jennifer didn't panic. She got to work. First priority, stop the heat escaping. Every second that window stayed open, the temperature inside dropped further. She had to seal it. She ripped both heavy rubber floor mats out of the footwells, the thick, deep dish kind that every car comes with. She grabbed duct tape from her emergency kit, wedged those mats hard into the window frame, and taped every single edge against the door frame as tight as she could push them. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't perfect, but the roaring wind dropped to almost nothing inside the car. Second priority, body heat. The only heat source she had left was the warmth her own body was producing. She had to stop it from escaping. She climbed into the back seat, pulled Buddy up beside her, and shook open a reflective foil emergency blanket. She pulled it completely over both of them, head to toe, tucking every edge tight. That thin silver sheet does one thing brilliantly. It doesn't generate heat. It captures yours, bounces every degree of warmth your body produces right back at you, like sitting inside a thermos. Buddy stopped shaking first. Then she felt it too, just barely, just enough. In the freezing dark of that broken down car, wrapped in a crinkly silver blanket with her dog pressed against her chest, Jennifer exhaled for the first time in what felt like hours. Just for a moment, one small, fragile moment, she was okay.
But survival never gives you a long break. As the hours dragged deeper into the night, a new problem arrived without making a single sound. No growl, no cracking glass, no warning at all. Dehydration. People connect dehydration with summer heat, with sweating, with sunburn, not with blizzards. But dry, freezing air pulls moisture from your lungs with every single breath. Your body burns through fluids fast when it's fighting to stay warm, and Jennifer's throat was already raw and cracking. She couldn't eat snow. That's the instinct, and it's wrong. Packing your stomach with frozen water drops your core body temperature faster than almost anything else. In her condition, that could have killed her in under an hour. She needed water, warm water, and she had nothing, so she built a stove. She found an empty aluminum soda can rolling around the cup holder, cut the top off with her pocket knife, squeezed a thick line of alcohol-based hand sanitizer into the bottom,
The same bottle sitting in glove boxes and cup holders in cars all across America. She pulled a loose wire from the dead dashboard, struck it against bare metal until a spark caught the gel. A small ghost blue flame rose up from the dark. She held a thermos cap packed with scraped window ice over that flame.
Watched it melt down into warm water, slowly, steadily. Held it down for Buddy first. Watched his tail give one single, slow wag. That flame was barely bigger than a birthday candle. But in that moment, alone, freezing, in the middle of nowhere, it was the most powerful thing Jennifer had ever felt. Light, warmth, control. She was still in this. She didn't get long to hold on to that feeling. The car groaned. Not a small creak, a deep, low, structural groan. The sound of something heavy bending under a load it was never built to carry. Jennifer looked up. In the dim glow from the foil blanket, she could actually see the roofline pressing inward. The snow and ice had been stacking on top of that car for hours, hundreds of pounds of weight, and the frame was beginning to buckle under it. And then she noticed the air, thick, heavy. The sealed-off cabin that had saved her from the wind was now slowly consuming their oxygen. She felt it in her head first, that dull, cottony feeling behind the eyes that most people mistake for exhaustion. It wasn't exhaustion. If she stayed sealed inside, she would either be crushed by the collapsing roof or slowly suffocate. Both of those ends were quiet. Both of them were close. She grabbed the iron lug wrench from the trunk compartment, braced her back hard against the rear seat, aimed the bar straight up at the sunroof glass above her, and drove it through with everything she had. The punch-through rained glass and snow down into the cabin. And then, cold, sharp, completely fresh air poured in like a wave. She gasped. Buddy sneezed. They both looked up at the jagged hole above them. Dark sky beyond it. Snow whipping past. She could breathe. But she knew what came next. She couldn't survive until morning, collapsing inside a crumbling car. She needed to get out. She needed fire, a real fire, something that would last through the night and be visible from the road. She came up through that sunroof like she was crawling out of the ground. The blizzard hit her full force the second she cleared the roof. Wall-to-wall wind, horizontal ice, total whiteout in every direction. She couldn't see 20 feet. The cold hit her skin like broken glass. She moved anyway. She dragged the flat fiberglass trunk board out onto the snow and laid it flat. A dry, raised platform so the fire wouldn't sink through the snowpack and die before it started. Then she went straight for the spare tire mounted under the rear of the vehicle. Here's something most people never know. Rubber is compressed oil, solidified, pressurized oil. If you can get rubber burning, it doesn't just catch. It roars, hot, sustained, and for hours on end. She ripped foam padding out of the back seat, soaked it in motor oil pulled directly off the engine dipstick, touched her jumper cables to the battery terminals. Sparks flew down onto the oil-soaked foam. It caught. She pressed it against the tire's edge, fed it, sheltered the flame from the wind with her own body, crouched over it, completely focused. Completely committed. The tire roared to life. Massive, aggressive orange light pushed back the dark in every direction. Heat, real, physical, immediate heat, hit her face for the first time in hours. Her whole body sagged with it. She sat back into the snow, looked at her hands, black with soot,
shaking, skin cracked from hours of cold, engine oil on her jacket, ice in her hair. And the thought came in quietly, the way the heaviest ones always do. Why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? What mistake brought me here? Before she could answer, a scream split the air. High-pitched, wild, close. The cougar was back. Jennifer sat with that sound for exactly 1 second.
Then she stood up. She grabbed a burning chunk of foam from the fire, looked straight into the dark in the direction of that scream, and she screamed back, full voice, everything she had left, every hour of cold, every drop of fear, every second of being alone on this road, all of it launched straight back into the dark. She hurled the burning foam into the black, a shriek, crashing movement through the brush. Then silence. Gone. Jennifer stood there, in the orange glow of a burning tire, in the middle of a blizzard, on the shoulder of an empty highway. Then she sat back down in the snow, pulled Buddy onto her lap, pressed her face into the back of his neck. She had nothing left. No fear, no fight, just quiet. She closed her eyes. The first gray light reached the horizon somewhere around 6 in the morning. She felt the ground shake before she heard anything. That deep, low vibration that starts in your chest, building slowly from far down the highway, and then headlights cutting through the white. A state highway rescue snowplow on its morning sweep of the interstate. The driver spotted the burning tire from half a mile away. Jennifer was airlifted out, mild hypothermia, frostbite on 3 fingers, alive. Buddy was completely fine. Here's what stays with me about this story, and I mean genuinely stays with me, long after it's over. Everything built to keep her safe that night failed her. The car failed. The phone failed. The road failed. The engine, the signal, the weather, every single system she had trusted completely failed, and she still made it home because she didn't wait for something outside of herself to save her. If this story gave you chills, there's a new one waiting for you. Hit the subscribe